Alright, so thank you guys for staying with me today. Today I want to teach a bamboo drawing with some different technique. If anybody are not familiar with the paper and specific pens, so the first strategies I will use is thinking pair share. Students come with like 2 to 4 or 5 students per table, and for each table it will be talking about what or thinking about the drawing is what part of the drawing will belong to which country, or yes, and when the students are guarding and talking about the drawing, the wanted answer will be Asia or Chinese. And the supplies students will need, I will let a student helper to passing the supplies with a ink plate, a water cup, or like a water plate for just water, and the point brush pen. And if the school don't have those kind of like a Chinese brush, can also use like a watercolor point brush. That will work as well. Okay, so as we already talked about, is the Asian art or Chinese art. So yeah, this is a traditional Chinese painting for today. So we're learning this technique, learning this different material to draw a bamboo. So for Chinese traditional painting, it's not like Western art. It's more abstract artwork instead of many realistic, and usually have some hidden meanings on it. And we can see in the bamboo art, bamboo drawing. It's not really realistic, right? It's bamboo is, we all know, is green, and the Chinese traditional painting use black or ink to represent that. And those are some examples for those drawing is created by others, famous artists, and even some historical, like 1,000 years ago. Those two are kind of new, and the left one is I think it's about 1,000 years ago, and it's keep till nowadays. And yeah, they all use like rice paper, like we will use that today, or silk, yeah, for more expensive. Yeah, and the brush, just this kind of brush for creating this art. And it can be smaller, bigger, vertical, horizontal, many ways. It can be really big or pretty small. Yeah, it's more artworks from, it's probably, yeah, 100 years ago. Okay, so start with bamboo drawing or traditional Chinese drawing. What we need to learn is how to hold the pen. It's different. It's different than other technique. We know in oil on canvas we can do this. Sketch, just regular. But for this drawing, we use a different way to hold the pen. It's a little bit tricky, but it's okay. It's not that hard. We use 4 fingers, 2 parts like this, 2 parts like this, and our pen holds like this, and like this, and we use the thumb to hold it. And so yes, I also have to take pictures of myself to make sure everybody knows. And then at this point, I will go around the classroom and check students. And if students have really difficulty with holding pens, they are also feel free to grab pen like this or use the regular. But for just regular students, they're required to do this. Okay, so after I check all the students and know they're okay for holding pens, the next things it's gonna do is we can practice. So the student helpers will pass in the 2 pieces of paper for each student. One is smaller, one is bigger. The smaller one, we can use that first. Hold the bigger one. Hold the bigger piece of paper. That is the final project. And this one is just a scratch. We want to start with a scratch first because there's water control problems. So first, yes, as we already know, holding pens like this. And because I stand, so yeah, I hold the ink plate, so students can just put the ink plate on the table. And we dip some water. And when we dip the water, we don't use paper towel to dry the pen. We do like this to get rid of the extra water. So we want to make sure that the water is not like this, it's too much or too mess. And leave it inside of the water, inside of the pen, sorry, and still have some. After the pen is wet, we can dip some ink. Same thing, get rid of the extra ink, and we can try on the example paper. So when we put the brush on the paper, we can see if we hold too much, too long, the water will sink and will go bigger. So we want to make sure the first it's not too much water or we hold too long, right? So we can get the shape that we want. So what can we do? First, control the water. Second, do fast. And remember, that is one-time work. So yeah, we cannot like erase or do anything else. One line is one line, and that's it. So alright, so at this point, I will stop again, and the students can go practice how to use brush on the rice paper. Yes, I'll go over the tables and make sure students don't have any questions about that. And students can go ahead and play. Because they can draw a line. They are okay to they have no trouble to draw a single line and do like this, or even they can draw some different shape. That is totally fine, and I will encourage that. So alright, after students are get familiar with the water, the brush, the rice paper, we will go ahead and move to the bigger paper. So now don't get rid of this small paper. We will need that. So yes, put this beside the bigger paper, always reachable, and we can start from this. Same thing. We dip some water first to make sure there's water inside. And get some ink. So every time we move on the bigger paper, as I said before, this is one-time things. We can make mistakes. If we did too much water, it will be, guess what? It will be a bigger spot than the whole drawing can be ruined. So that's why we keep the small paper. So yeah, we always test on the small paper, say okay, that's okay, right? That's not too much water, and yeah, it's correct amount. So yeah, I will change to the bigger brush to make sure everybody can see that. Same thing. Ink. Test. Okay, alright. So we can start with the tongue first. So for the bamboo, the one big difference than the other trees is they have the like a step by step. It's not like all the way go there. So that's the easy things. We don't need to go all the way to the up. We can do step, step, step. Bring a different part. So we stop. It's alright. So that's one. Stop. Another one. So I have to make sure the top and bottom is bigger, and the middle is a little bit thinner. Like that. And then, yes, we can start with some others, same things. We don't start with the leaf first. So yes, no worry about leaf. We start with the tongue. Start. Stop. And because the bamboo is pretty strict, so we don't do any like really curve. Yes, so if you want to do curve, it's on the middle, like in the connect part. Alright, so we have three parts, like three bamboos, and then we can do some smaller tongue. Still not worry about the leaf. Some thinner. Alright, so at this point, I will go and check the students how it's work. And when I can see the students okay, and we are ready to move on the leaf. So for the leaf, we can see this leaf like kind of pointy on the other side. So how can I do? Same thing. So at the beginning, same thing. We stop, and then just like this, right? So it's gonna be like pretty sharp at the end and pretty bolded at the beginning. And if we see how bamboo are growing, they're not like their leaf is not like line up. It's not how they're growing. There's some simple way to put the leaf on orders like this. This is the most simple way. they will always start on the 1 point. Or we can do a little bit complex, like this, right? Still start from 1 point, but just, yeah, some extra. Yeah, and for these little things, it's okay, it's totally fine. Remember, this is pretty abstract. And if you are not have a real confidence on the bigger drawing, always, yes, we can always test on the this is like the scratch first. Okay, yes. So I will go around and check how students work, and for this class, students are required for 3 pieces of bamboo, and yes, each bamboo has their own leaves, and that's for requirement. And for higher grade or gifted students, they can drawing with a different color, not different color, sorry, the lighter color. Like we can dip the water. Yeah, if the students are finished quick, they can use more water instead of pro ink to create some gray for different layer. Or they can draw something what they want after they finish the 3 bamboo. So I will just show these to students so they can see what's going on, copy it. Yes, some different color for different layer. And also they can draw some rock if they are interested. Yes, for rock it's the different things. We use a dry pen, dry brush. Sorry, yes, for those rocks. This is only for students are finished early. They're still interested in this drawing, or gifted students. And for struggling students, I can reduce my assessment with less bamboo, or I can go and help them. Alright. So at the end of class, I will say thank you to stay with me. Everybody doing great. And if you guys are still interested, we can set up the different lessons for the same technique with different things, and there's just a Chinese, and we can go all over the world. We can go and see how Egypt cultures, which Egypt art goes, and with Native American art, European art, South Asia, everything. So yes, for students can understand all the diversity of the art of the world, and that's it. Thank you.